Maryland's the largest tax increase we've ever had in our state's history.
At some point, Marylanders cannot afford the taxes in this state.
The 2025 General Assembly session has officially come to an end here in Maryland, but not without some controversial and difficult decisions when it comes to issues facing the state.
And that includes that looming $3 billion budget deficit. Lawmakers have introduced $1.6 billion in new taxes and fees to offset that budget. That's in addition to $2 billion in proposed cuts.
Now, Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost breaks down exactly how the new taxes included in the budget will impact your wallet.
Now that the dust of sine die has settled, we're learning more details about how much this new budget plan will cost Marylanders. While Democrats will point to Washington and federal action for the reason, critics say the blame for the $1.6 billion in taxes lies at the feet of leadership here in the State House.
That when the General Assembly adjourns at midnight, April 7th, 2025, it stands adjourned sine die.
Before the confetti dropped from the ceiling, marking the end of the 2025 legislative session.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House stand adjourned sine die.
Lawmakers took final votes on the budget, which included $1.6 billion in taxes. Republicans took the opportunity to question the impacts on the middle class.
And I don't understand how the governor of Maryland can actually sign a bill to say you're waging war on the middle class, waging war on cars, and at the same time saying you're not getting a tax increase.
In addition to taxes, like a new 6% sales tax on vending machine purchases, new tax brackets, higher capital gains taxes, and increasing taxes on cannabis and sports betting. The $67 billion budget includes $500 million for transportation. The Maryland Freedom Caucus argues those taxes and fees will soon drive people out of the state.
You have to say to yourself, how much more can we take?
The budget includes a new tire tax, rental car fee changes, higher vehicle excise taxes, registration fees are getting more expensive sooner, emission fees are going up, title fees are doubling, and changes to the historical vehicle taxes.
The majority party has decided to wage war on cars. Clearly, that's what you've done.
On the House floor, Delegate Mark Fisher says the plan will hurt the population. Leadership says they want to help.
And when you have a war on cars, you also have a war on the middle class, because that's who drives the cars.
Welcome to the Maryland State House for our first bill signing ceremony of 2025.
Tuesday morning, Governor Wes Moore and the presiding officers talked about working to protect middle-class Marylanders.
At a time when the White House seems more interested in carving out space for billionaire tax cuts than helping regular people, Maryland is mobilizing in support of our workers and in support of our middle-class families.
These actions were necessary and essential to stabilize our state's finances while safeguarding the critical services that many vulnerable Marylanders absolutely rely on.
But no mention of the specific taxes Marylanders will be forced to pay, like the new 3% tech tax. Lawmakers hope will bring in some $480 million for the state's bottom line. The parameters of implementing the tax remain unclear, despite the plan passing.
Unfortunately, it's one of those pass it and then find out what's in it.
Lawmakers did include a carve-out for quantum, but only in College Park.
If you have to exempt one part of the state for the IT tax in order to get the companies to stay in Maryland, then why would you implement the tax at all?
When asked about those carve-outs,
parts of the carve-outs people have said is the state picking winners and losers, because the carve-out for the quantum industry is in College Park. Why not make quantum the industry-wide so that investments can be made in other areas of the state and not just in one specific area?
Well, because it's data. Because the data continues to show that these are industries that have an outsized potential of really being explosive for growth.
Governor Wes Moore says he wants to diversify the state's economy to foster growth, while Democratic leadership continues to blame Maryland's budget decisions on federal actions.
In the face of catastrophic cuts from the Trump administration, we passed a budget that solves our immediate fiscal challenges and creates a safety net that we can withstand the fallout from Trump's economic malpractice.
Federal workers are being impacted, but Maryland's budget deficit was projected before President Trump's inauguration.
Is the Trump administration tied to what Democrats did here in the State House?
The Trump administration is not to blame here. We've been saying for many years that Maryland has been over-reliant on federal government and the jobs associated with that.
A new committee has been formed to track federal action to see if Maryland's funding from the federal government does drop, potentially sparking a special session, sending lawmakers back here later this year. In the State House, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Hey, I'm Mackenzie Frost. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Check out Fox Baltimore on all of our social media pages for more videos just like this.